Welcome everyone. Today, Tuesday, another day on these live sessions. My name is Alejandro Garay, and I'm with Maaco in Llano Lake, Florida. Um, we've been doing these live sessions with people in the automotive industry. Um, we have painters, we have companies, everyone pretty much in the Refinish family has been here. So I want to remind you before we start couple giveaways that we have going on right now. One is due tomorrow, so still one more day to get in, and it's our giveaway with the Luma people. We have one Aurora 2, a hose hand, which is a brand new product they just released a couple years out there. So you can find the post on our profile or in their profile. Both will count, and you just need to tag three painters, whoever you think that deserve to win the prize here. And we also have another giveaway that is due on Friday. Let me look it up here real quick. Our friend Jose in Las Vegas with Las Vegas Model Car gave us, this beautiful El Camino here. So you have time until Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time to tag three friends, either on our post or on his post. So just, dig in a little bit on our profiles and please find that and join. Coming back to the live sessions tomorrow, we're going to have chat with all data. Also 9 p.m. Eastern time. This week will be all 9 p.m. And then we do have Larry Montanez Thursday 9 p.m. as well. And on Friday we have Mr. Ron Flea also 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific. So let me bring just 1 second here. Sergio,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, beautiful. There you go.
That's it. Good
Nice,
to be here.
nice setup. Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Well, Sergio, as I always say, and I'm saying Sergio in a Spanish accent. We will find out, where you come from and all that later on. But we haven't met in person. I haven't met with pretty much anyone that has been on the live sessions, and I appreciate that. That everyone is joined just to put information out there and bring the community together. So for the people that is out there that don't know who you are, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how are you related to the automotive industry?
Yeah, sure. So thanks again for giving me this bit of time. It's a good thing that you're doing for the industry, especially with these times that we're going through. Yeah, so basically, I'm Italian born in Italy, raised in South Africa. That's where the accent is from. Moved to the United States 5 years ago. Was part of the wheel repair industry in the US. I was part of a national franchise organization, and that's where the need for the universal spare wheel came on. I've been in the industry for 10 years now. I actually took the franchise to South Africa in the early days, and today, I've sold those businesses and I've dedicated all my time to getting the Guniwheel, to be an international product. And we've just been around for just over 18 months now, and we've had quite a huge success at this stage. It was a product that I just saw the gap. We needed something in the industry to keep our vehicles moving and mobile and safe during the repair process, whether it was through a body shop or just a wheel repair or restoration. We just needed something apart from just having flimsy jack stands to put our cars on. So that's the background, of where the Guniwheel started. I launched at SEMA 2018, won the Best New Media International Award, and then last year we came runners-up for Manufacturer of the Year Award at SEMA. So it's been quite a a product at this stage. It's been exciting, that's for sure.
Nice. So when you mentioned that you were in the franchise business, it was an automotive franchise, or was it a completely different business?
Yeah, it was a wheel repair. We used to repair wheels on cars. So
Okay.
if you had damage to your wheels, we'd bring it in, we'd either powder coat it, we'd machine it, or we'd do mobile repair on it. So I was I was a franchisor in New York for that, and then I was a consultant at the corporate company for that company.
Nice. So, I don't know if you have seen the format, but for everyone else that is watching, we're going to go back and forth with the past, the future, the present. Normally, we don't have anything pre-established. We go by, the conversation. So definitely I want to know more about the early stages. You just, briefly say that you saw the need of something like this when you were working in a wheel business repair. So tell me a little bit about those early stages. What,
Yeah,
caught your
so
attention? And
yeah, no, good question. So it all started, we would go to dealerships or body shops and take wheels away from them to repair the wheels. So what would happen is we would take away 4, 2, 1 wheel, whatever it was, and leave a car at a body shop on jack stands and take the wheels away to do the repair. Now, a repair can take anything from 24 hours up to, who knows, 5 days, depends what kind of finish you need. Now, what have we done to that vehicle? We've made that vehicle a dead vehicle because that vehicle cannot move anymore. So the body shop is losing money now because we've got the wheels. So we have now, as a wheel repair company, we have stopped production, on the car because of the wheel gone out for repair. So we had a lot of issues where we would bring a wheel back to a body shop, and I'm sure a lot of the body shop guys can talk on about this. We'd come back and maybe the wheel color was not right. So we might have had a different shade or something wasn't right. Maybe they rejected the quality and we took the wheels away again. And then again, that car sat there for maybe a day, maybe 2, maybe 3 days without any production done on that car. So now who loses out? We lose out because we're not getting the wheels back. The body shop loses out because he's losing production, which obviously is losing revenue. And the insurance company is paying more money now on a rental car because the customer is not getting his vehicle back in time because we've kept the wheels. Now, what happens is nowadays, obviously you'll see the Goonie wheels out there. We obviously got a lot of wheels out there where people now, if a wheel repair company comes and takes that actual wheel away, they put a Goonie wheel on the car, and that car can go through mechanical, can go through the paint booth, can go through detail, and basically the car is getting repaired quicker and the cycle time is becoming less per car. So that just means the body shops are making more money on that car. Time is money in our industry. If we don't have if a car is sitting there and you're not making money on it, you're losing money, right? So the Goonie wheel, it's not just a tool, but it's a solution. It's a solution for the body shop industry, the restoration industry, the towing industry, to keep cars moving and keep production flowing, which is important in our industry. So that's where the idea came. And if you see the design, I've actually got a wheel here. I'll show you my first designed wheel.
okay.
So this here is a Goonie wheel 45. And why it's a 45, if you look at the pattern I have designed in the middle here, this will cover all your 4 and 5 sedan vehicles. So any 4 and 5 bulk pattern, we cover it here from 100 PCD up to 137. So this covers the majority of the cars that are out there today. So if a car comes in, whether it's a BMW, whether it's Mercedes, whether it's a Honda, a Ferrari, whatever the case may be, the Goonie wheel fits on it all. So what does that mean? You don't have to stock all those old OE tires at your shops anymore. Because now you've got to send a technician to go look for the tire, the right wheel. He comes back, he's got the wrong PCB on it, or the wheel is flat. So at the end of the day, this also, speeds up time. And another great benefit is space saving. So instead of keeping all those wheels in your shop, you can get rid of all that, create a new bay and more production in your shop. You just keep a few Goonie wheels in the shop. They're universal. They fit all cars, and then they're good to go. And then we also created the one for the bigger SUVs. This is the Goonie Wheel 56, so you can see the pattern is different here.
Correct.
We've got a bigger center ball, and this covers your 6 lug pattern vehicles, so your SUVs or your Tahoes or your Ford F-150s. So, that's the two wheels we've got at the moment. So the whole idea was to keep production moving. And then slowly, whilst I kept going into the industry and, obviously, getting more experience out there with it, we realized the tow industry became a very big market for us. Nowadays you get a lot of these cars that are, people wake up in the morning and they find their Honda Accord sitting on bricks or on a Coke crate, wheels are stolen, right? So what happens? The tow truck guy gets there, he doesn't know what to do, he can't find wheels, but now they're keeping Guniwheels in the back of the tow trucks, and they're putting the car in the back of the tow truck and taking it to storage. So that's become a big market for us. The restoration industry, very big for us. If you guys follow our social media, you'll see we've got some of the big names that use our wheels now. You'll see a lot of TV shows with our wheels. The likes of the Gas Monkey guys, the Chip Foos, Counts Customs, they're all using our wheels now to keep, whilst they're doing the restoration and they're busy working on the frames. So from an idea which came from a wheel repair company to what it's become today, it's been pretty exciting. It's been an exciting journey from the beginning. And just so we've partnered with a company, as you guys know, LKQ Keystone. They are my distributors in the US, Canada, and for Europe. So they cover Europe through their company called Euro Car Parts. And we opened up distribution in New Zealand, Australia. We've covered the Middle East, so Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Kuwait, and we've got Brazil, Mexico, Chile open, and obviously Canada. So the product has actually gone pretty far and wide in a short span of time. So it's been a great product.
So tell me, you say you've been like 10 years on the repair facility, on the repair side. When actually, like, you had this vision, like, from the beginning, or one day you just, you started to see it often after a few years? I want to know exactly when that happened, that click that you were like, I need to invent something for this. I need to provide a solution for this.
Yeah, what actually happened was, when my technicians, where I started to get the need for it, but I just didn't have time to come up with something, was when my technicians would jack up a car and then, they would try and put that trifold, the jack stand somewhere. They kept, I can't tell you how many times my technicians would put that in the wrong position. So they would put it on either on the wishbone or on the suspension, or they'd put it on the rocker panel, and they would damage cars, whether Mercedes, Audis. I mean, we were doing insurance claims like crazy every year because of the wrong positioning of the jack stands. So that's where my idea started. I started to figure out, how can we take a wheel off a car and put something back on a car that my technicians don't have to risk damaging a car? And I started to design like a little trifold, like a triangle with different bolt patterns. And then, like, slowly but surely, I realized, but we need to keep these cars moving, because what happens is, even though we put a car on a jack stand, maybe it's parked behind a car that needs to go out today and we don't have wheels. So now we're sitting with a car on jack stands that don't move, and now we've got a customer's car that's stuck in our shop and we can't get it out the way because for some reason we didn't get those wheels back. So I incorporated both those ideas. How do we keep it safe and how do we keep it mobile?
So how many years was that in the business when it was from the beginning that you saw the need?
No, so I only started thinking about, that when I got to the US in 5 years ago. I started to see the need. In South Africa, we didn't have a high demand like we have here. You got to be quick, you got to move, you got to, custom wants their car back tomorrow. South Africa, the market was a lot more relaxed, more slower. We didn't have to rush cars. We had time to work on a car. Where here, your wheel repair shops nowadays are doing anything from 100 to 800 wheels a night, in the US. So there was always that movement. We needed to keep things moving. And that's where the idea came from. So it really came when I moved to the US, and I started to see how much damage we would find, because I never used to see that damage in my businesses back in South Africa, because we were careful, we had time. We weren't on a car, it had to be in and out. So that's where the idea came from. How do we keep things mobile and keep things safe?
So you started to sketch, something in the beginning?
So what actually happened was, I was out in Phoenix, and I was actually at one of the Penske body shops. And we made an error on one of their Maseratis, and I told the guy, I said, listen, let's run the wheels tonight. I'll come back tomorrow and everything will be fine, because we had the wheels for 10 days already. I went back the next day and the color was still wrong. And he said, look, I'm done with you guys, get out of here. And we lost that account because we just were wasting his time on that vehicle. That night, believe it or not, I was sitting in some bar in Phoenix having a beer or two, and I started to sketch the wheel on a napkin, which I've still got today. So I started the design on a napkin, and then I reached out to my CAD guys, and I got a family member of mine that's a specialist in CAD design. I gave him my design, and what we did was we did a 3D mold in the early days so that I could try and work out all the PCDs, and very importantly was the offset of the brake calipers. How many different brake calipers are in the industry? So I had to make sure we knew where to fit what and how it's going to work on each car. I couldn't make the wheel too big and I couldn't make it too small. If it was too big, it wouldn't fit in the arches of the smaller vehicles. And if it was too small, it would be too lopsided to fit on the bigger SUVs. So I had to find that medium point. So what I did was I got a 3D print done of my first prototype, and I played around with different designs and go back to the drawing board, back and forth until I knew I had it right. So now I've got a wheel that's very compact, and also what you will see, I've incorporated these little safety features on the wheels. Now, people ask me what that is, and it's basically, it works two ways. So if you go over 5 miles an hour on the Guniwheel, the car starts to vibrate. So you've got a Guniwheel on there and you don't want to hit the highway, right? So that's a warning feature. Also, on the restoration side, it doesn't allow the car just to roll away. It actually stops. So it's got two properties on that. So that was part of my design as well. And then obviously in the beginning, I made sure to get everything patented. We had to be patent pending for 12 months to make sure that nobody came forward with any similar worldwide. And now we are fully patented on the wheels.
Nice. So tell me about, the improvements that what you just show us, that horizontal piece, it's there from the beginning? Is something that came after?
No, that was from the beginning. So, what I did, the only improvement I did have to make on the wheel is I changed my rubber formula here. So instead of using 100% natural rubber, I changed it to a polyurethane rubber, which is a lighter and much stronger material. So it would be longer lasting. What we were finding with the natural rubber is in the colder temperatures, it intended to stretch a little bit. So, there was concern that the wheel might move away from the rim. So now with this polyurethane, we don't have that anymore, so it's become a solid wheel now, and it's a steel rim and a polyurethane tire on it, solid. So you don't have to worry about maintenance on it. You don't need to air it up or anything. Just grab it from your shop, put it on your car, and you keep the car moving around the shop. So that was it. And then what I also did do was I increased, you can see this area here. So in the early days, we were trying to tell all the customers to make sure that they only torque it up to 50 pounds an hour, torque it up to 50 pounds when they tighten the bolts and nuts. But as we know in our industry, people are rushing and they're using the torque guns, and they've started to damage that area there. So, because it's an on and off wheel, eventually it started to eat up in that area and started to make it a bit of a weaker spot. So what we did was we increased the thickness of our material in that area, and we introduced the Guni washers. So this is a 6 millimeter stainless steel washer that you put on before you put the bolt or before you put the acorn nut back on. So now you've got these washers that protect this area, so there's no more damage happening there. So this was a savior, and these we don't even charge for. If anybody's bought Guni wheels in the past, they can reach out to LKQ or reach out direct to us, and we will actually ship these out for free, free of charge to them, to make sure that they keep their wheels in good shape. So that was really the changes we made. And you'll see, I've just shown you the bolt and the nut. So we also supply these. This is a shorter bolt for the German cars. So your Mercedes and your Audi, your BMW, they got the bolts, but some of them have got the longer bolts. So if your longer bolt doesn't tighten up the Guni wheel, we've got these shorter ones to make sure you get enough torque on the wheel to keep it nice and solid against the hub. And then our nuts are actually open-ended. So if your stud is sticking out far out of the hub, this will keep going through until you get torque on your Guni wheel. So we've got these available as well. Okay, and they're also universal. So that's it. And then also what we do have is the spacer. So the spacer is used for when you've got the bigger brake calipers, maybe your Brembos, maybe some of the AMGs. You first put the spacer and then you put the Goonie wheel. You don't want the Goonie wheel to be touching against your brake caliper. You're going to cause, damage to the caliper and to the wheel. So that's why we've got these spacers. And I need to tell you, and believe it or not, I need to tell you that these do not go in the front as a washer. We've seen people do that and use it as a washer and tighten the bolt and it cracks because this is aluminum. So make sure that this is a spacer that goes at the back of the wheel. So that's all that we've really had to do. It's such a simple solution. There's no extra funny washers or O-rings or center rings or anything. You just put the wheel on and it's good to go. It's a very easy, simple solution. It costs around $179, $199 per wheel, but the ROI, the return on investment, is a day. We worked it out.
You can calculate that.
We did some economic sums, with a couple of the bigger body shop groups, and you're losing $800 to $1,200 a day if you've got a bay tied up that you can't get a car off, because you could have brought another car in and made money off that bay. So this pays itself off in a couple of hours once you've got it. So, a lot of, you might have guys saying, geez, it's expensive, but it's not really. It's a tool. It's not just something that's not, it's a tool that makes you money. So, I like people to look at it a different perspective as well.
So you mentioned that all this started when you came to US, and I feel, identify with that because, I'm originally from Argentina. And we tend to have, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I think this applied to you too. We tend to think that everything is invented. When we don't live here, basically, we think that everything is already done. There's no room for improvement. Everything is out there, and then you come here, and you see the potential, and the economy, pushing to resolve things, right? So tell me if that applied to you too or not.
Yeah, absolutely. America is definitely the land of opportunities. I'm super blessed to be living here. I respect this country for everything it's done for me. It's done for a lot of people. And, you definitely, it's an eye opener because, like I said to you, how much demand there is for wheel repair, for collision repair. I saw how big the market is here. It's not just what we had back there. For me, in my wheel repair shop back in South Africa, if I did 10, 15 wheels a day, I'd be happy. Where I came here and I realized, we need to do 100 here. Demand is just so much bigger. So, it definitely opened my eyes as an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur. Back in South Africa, I actually started a pizza franchise called the Pizza Boss. So that franchise went pretty well. I used to own a nightclub. I started off in engineering before, that when I left school. And, it was just a day-to-day, working until you got to the US, you actually realize, the opportunity that you can create for yourself and for your family and obviously for your employees. So, it was definitely an eye-opener for me. There's no joke.
I keep, going back to the early stages of the product because I know that there's many people watching that have ideas. When you do this, in your case, you did it for 10 years, you become creative and try to resolve things. Many people, that paint cars every day, have great feedback to let's say to paint guns, or they have ideas that they want to create something. So, and it's very hard, right? So I want to know a couple things about the early stages. One is when we have Kirk from Luma, he was talking, and Tim Briggs from Collision Edge also talking about the patenting process being very complicated and stressful, and many people that have ideas have no idea about that process. So how was your experience on patenting your invention, basically?
Expensive.
Okay.
Yeah. So it gets very technical. You're dealing with attorneys. There's a lot of paperwork behind it. You got to be very, very detailed. I approached them obviously early with my initial designs, my prototypes. We spent a bit of time. I did try to find a patent company that was involved in the auto industry before, that's had experience in it, so that they could understand my product, you know, and believe in my product. You also need to find somebody who believes in it, because if they don't, they're not going to take it seriously. You know, and lucky enough, I found a great company actually here in Atlanta that, you know, worked extremely hard to get the final patents through. Obviously, like I say, you had to be pending for a couple of months before you could get your, you know, US patent and international patent. So we've done both now, you know. It's the difficult part was really going international, because you've got to apply almost in every country. It's not like you can go to one organization and say, hey, I got a product here, you know, I want it to be covered in, you know, worldwide. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that. You know, we could cover obviously Europe because of the European Union, but like for Australia, I had to go and apply there. You know, for South Africa, I had to apply there. So all of that costs money. So the wider you go with your patents and your trademarks, the more money it's going to cost you. But, you know, I've always said to everybody, the best way to do it is to flood the market with your product and become the brand. You know, become the know-how. You know, people now talk about a universal wheel. They're talking about the Guniwheel. And that's another thing, you know, talking about the name. You know, a lot of people say to me, why the name Guniwheel? Guniwheel, what is that? And if you look at the name, you know, you'll see it says Guniwheel, where the uni part means universal, and the G is for my daughter, Gabriella. So I put the name together. So it's Guniwheel. So that's where the name came from. And I gave the wheel a name so that I could incorporate, so it could have its own identity, you know. So now in the body shop, you know, your technician's not shouting, hey, where's the universal wheel? You're going to look at him and go, what are you talking about? But if you say Guniwheel, they know what it is. You know, so it's got an identity now. So it's become a familiar household name in our industry now. So, you know, in the US last year, we sold just over 86,000 wheels in 2019 in the US alone. So there's a lot of wheels out there, a lot of orange wheels out there. And that's the color also. Why orange? Because it's bright, it's a warning. You know, if I did it a black wheel, you know, maybe you thought it was a normal wheel. Or if I did it silver, you'd think it's a normal wheel and your technician drives out of the shop with it. So I did it a very bright orange so that people can see that the Guniwheel is actually on the car. So that's the whole purpose behind the name, and obviously the color. But yeah, the patent side of it, you know, I tell you, it's very stressful to start up. You know, you're putting all your time, all your effort, a lot of money behind a product that you just don't know is going to be accepted in the industry. But as we all are in the industry, we're all entrepreneurs. We all take risks. You know, if we don't take a risk, you never know. So it could go both ways, you know, and luckily for me, it did go pretty well. But I was in the industry and I just knew we needed something to help cars, you know, keep moving. So it was very stressful. I can tell you, I lost a lot of sleep. I definitely aged a lot in the early days, you know, to get the factory going and to get the presses going. And I had to buy all the molds and, you know, so it was pretty stressful in the beginning, and slowly but surely, you know, it went on pretty easily after that. You know, now we've hit a point where we you know, we're pretty comfortable, where I've got another product here that I've designed now that's coming out now. It's a road version. It's a Goonie spare wheel. So I'll show you the wheel now. We're busy doing final testing on it now, because obviously we need to have this DOT approved, which we've got. Now we're just doing some radial fatigue on it, and we're doing some cornering and some pothole damage to the wheel. We're doing some of those testings now. So far, the results are coming out fantastic for us. It's a universal wheel. I'll show you now. And this is it here. You can actually see it's a road tire.
Correct.
You see, so this one's pneumatic. So we've got air in this one. So this one here, you pump it up. This goes 50 miles per hour. It's a temporary wheel. And again, you can see we've got the universal patented design in it, you know, so this can fit on any car. We're going to have two sizes. We're going to have a 17-inch and a 20-inch wheel. So that obviously if it's a smaller car, you'll use a 17. If it's a bigger car, you use 20, so that you don't get an uneven drive, you know, of the car. So this is coming out now. It's launched. We're doing some testing now before we hit the road, but we're pretty close to launching. We're actually ahead of schedule. So this is going to be a great product for us. You can see it, you know, it's a tread, nice tire, you know, and it's good to go. So this is also going to work. We're going to sell it as a wheel on its own, and we're also going to sell it in a kit form. So in the kit, you'll get a 2-ton hydraulic jack. You'll get a chevron jacket. You'll get gloves. You'll get a night vision light. You'll get another bag to put the old wheel in so it doesn't dirty the car when you put the old wheel away. And it will come with a tool to take the bolts and nuts off. So it's going to come in 2 forms, because as you know now, a lot of cars don't come with spare wheel, right? So what do you do when you get stuck on the side of the road, or you get a call out to a car that's got a damaged tire? You just keep a Guniwheel spare with you. It's guaranteed to fit on the car, and you're good to go. So that's coming out now. So that's and we've got a Guniwheel 8-lug coming out also for the really bigger F250s and F350s.
Nice. So seeing all this, and thank you for sharing this, new product tonight. Did you imagine, like, I know that you mentioned that you knew that it was a need in the industry, but did you imagine, like, what you just say, like selling, whatever 1,000, in the US, developing another product, the company probably, will keep growing and it will keep developing more products? Did you imagine all that in the beginning? You have
no,
okay.
Not at all. I mean, I had the vision of, maybe my goal was to sell maybe 5 to 10,000, as my business plan. And I must say, my partnership with LKQ Keystone made that happen. I mean, they're a big company. They've got a great distribution.
I was going to ask you when did they came in the picture? So
they came on the picture in 2019 in April.
So it's recent, technically.
Yeah, recent, about a year now. So they've got a great footprint around the US, Canada, and Europe. We've actually loaded all of their distribution centers around the US and Canada with stock. So if a customer calls them or goes onto our website and orders, the wheel gets delivered the next day free of charge to the customers. So it's a great solution that we've got. So if you need a wheel today, you can call the local LKQ or go onto their lkqonline.com portal, place the order for the wheels, and they'll deliver them tomorrow to you guys. So we've stocked them up that, to make sure that they provide a good service. We give a 1-year warranty on our wheels. So if you've got any factory damage or any manufacturer fault, we will replace the wheels for you guys. And that will be done by Guniwheel, ourselves. We take care of the warranties.
I understand. So every night that we have someone that develop a product or a tool or a solution in this case, right? I always ask about feedback. How, what is the best way for people to give you, feedback? Do you guys care? It is part of the R&Ds of the company. Where, the other side of this business, is in your company?
Yeah, so, I'm very service orientated. I take care of customers, whether it's an LKQ customer or a direct customer to us. So what usually happens is if there's an issue with a customer, I get on the phone personally with that customer, go through the fault, what happened, why did it happen? All right, this is what happened. Let's make here's a solution to the problem. And then I will make sure that that customer gets treated fairly to make sure that he's back on the, back on the road with the Guniwheel. So we are very, very service orientated. We direct with our customers. I spend a lot of time here in Atlanta going to different body shops that have bought wheels, and I spend time with them and I'll say, guys, where can we improve? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And that was one of the things in the early days. They were worried about the over talking, which we discussed earlier in the call, and that's why I developed this. We actually manufacture these ourselves. We don't even buy them. So we manufacture these ourselves, the Guni washers, because I wanted them to be stronger and more durable than any washer you can find on the market. So this is a 6mm stainless steel washer. So I know that this is the right washer for my wheel. I didn't just go and get any washers from Home Depot, for example. We make sure when we do something, we do it right. And we're very focused on improving. And that's why we've come up with the 8-lug now. The 8-lug's not going to be a big seller for us, but we're doing it because people have asked us, can you come up with an 8-lug? We do get a lot of vehicles that come in that are 8-lug vehicles, and we can't do anything with them because obviously we don't have anything to move them around. Or a big problem with the 8-lug vehicle is when they need to transport them around, they're very wide. So the Guniwheel actually makes it narrower for them to fit on the back of the trailer. So they take the original wheels off and they put Goonie wheels on to load it onto a trailer to move it around, whether it's going to a show or whether it's going to a store, whether it's going to storage. So a lot of the guys wanted it for that. So we listened to them and we now developed. And, to develop, it's not just drawing a piece of paper and getting things going. You've got to do molds, you've got to do development, you've got to do testing. So there's a lot of money in the initial stages before your product gets to the market. So we do definitely listen to our customers on the ground level every day.
So I don't know if you have an answer on this one because it's tricky, but why do you think that it was nothing like this before? Like, why do you think that nobody came up with this?
I don't know, but I'm happy. You won't believe how many people, when we go to all the shows, because we go to the tow shows, we go to all the car shows, you won't believe how many people say, why didn't I think of that? Or, damn, that's a good idea. So we actually got a bell on our tables. Every time somebody says it, we actually ring a bell, so that bell is ringing all day, every day. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know if it was, just because, people thought, well, I'm just going to go grab the spare from the trunk, or I'm just going to go keep a spare in the back of the shop. Maybe that was just the easier solution for them. Why go develop something where I've got a solution, not a great one, but it sort of helped me out. Now they've got something that helps them out, obviously in a bigger scale, more universal now. So don't know why, but I'm happy no one thought about it.
So let's talk a little bit about the speed, right? It's something that grabbed my attention when I, was investigating a little bit about the product. So how did it, the 5, miles per hour is the conclusion of the design and, your prototype. It is, do you think that that speed is going to increase and improve, or that's the max and you think that that's it?
Yeah, look, I did it for, obviously a lot of reasons. Obviously the engineering behind it, the 5 miles per hour, I knew I was in a very, very safe zone. Apart from that, you don't want anybody in your shop driving at high speed when you've got other guys walking around. So this will also create a safety barrier between the vehicle and your other guys, other technicians working in your shop. You don't want a guy just pulling into the shop at a high speed and maybe hitting somebody over. So the wheel keeps the car at a safe speed, not just for the car, but also for the people around the shop or in your yard. You do not want people going fast in those areas. So that sort of keeps the technicians, keeping a respectful speed around the shop and keeping everybody safe. Apart from that, it's not a pneumatic tire. You cannot legally drive on the road with a wheel that is not pneumatic. So I didn't want anybody trying to get onto the road and driving down the road with a Goonie wheel. So that's why I put those safety features on, so that it can vibrate the car, that it's an uncomfortable drive and the guy will stop. So that's why we did that that's where the 5 mile per hour came. That's almost a walking speed. So it's a safe speed. So that's why I designed the wheel to go that speed.
So again, I will go back and forth. Tell me about the design process. What was the most tricky part? It was to resolve the whole universal portion of the center, basically the attachment to the wheel, or the thickness and the other stuff that you mentioned that also it was part of the design.
Yeah, so the whole idea was obviously the universal lug. So I started with that. That was the base of the design, and then I worked around that. So once I got the right measurements and the right center bore size, I worked from there. And then the next challenge was, again, to make sure we had...
Wait. How did you test every single combination? How did you come up with that?
A lot of patience. And like I say, being in the wheel repair industry and knowing a lot of people, I spent a lot of hours with my prototypes. And then I'd go back to the drawing board and stretch it. Then I'd go to a BMW garage and spend time with them. I'd go to Mercedes, spend time with them. I'd go to a CarMax where I knew one of the managers, and I said, do you mind if I walk around your lot measuring different sizes on cars? So I spent a lot of time doing that in the beginning, to try and get the right pattern. So, and now we've, finally we got it down. So that was the main, design. And from there, I needed to work on the brake calipers. That became a bit of a challenge because, it's difficult to measure different brake calipers. How much offset did I need that I did? And I didn't want the wheel to go any wider than what it is now, because then it becomes heavier, more expensive, and then it becomes an OSHA issue because it's too heavy for somebody to pick it up. So I had to keep it as light as possible so that it didn't become an issue where the guys had to wear a back brace. So I basically had to get it as thin as possible, as strong as possible, and I needed to find the center point of pressure to make sure that it would be strong enough the way we designed it for the offset. So in the beginning, there was a lot of that going on, a lot of designing, a lot of engineering around it. And then once I had it right, I went into full production. And, actually, when I got my first 4 wheels off the line, I actually tested the first 4 wheels on my wife's car to see if it would work. So that could have been very good, or it could have been a divorce. And today we're still married. So that went pretty well.
That's a good one. So you're based in Atlanta?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
And you guys manufacture there, or you guys just assembly there? How is the work there?
We do our marketing and all our administration, and we manufacture we manufacture some parts in Asia and some in Africa. We put it together.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, Sergio, definitely you sold me, a couple tonight to me. I've seen it, I think, maybe like a year ago. I've seen it around, probably in an LKQ flyer or something like that, and definitely caught my attention. And I see all the benefits. It was really nice to talk to you, to refresh and to learn more about the product. So for someone like me that doesn't have it, what will be your message besides that they're going to save a ton of money?
Yeah, just support local, and look, it's always good to get support. Entrepreneurs, we take a lot of risks in our lives. We always out and about, and apart from the fact that it saves you money, it also keeps your people safe. It's a new product. It's just, I would just love some good feedback as well. I'm always open to feedback, and the
what
more support I can get, the more I can develop, and more I can do for the industry.
What is the best way to communicate with you? Email, through the website, through Instagram,
Yeah, so, obviously my website's good. It's www.guniwheel.com. On there we've got a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, a lot of information. We've actually got a cool tool on there where you can actually click on the actual link, and you can actually find your vehicle, and it will actually find the PCD of your vehicle. So for example, if you've got a BMW 2008 and a 3 Series, it will tell you what PCD your BMW is, and then it will make sure that you've actually bought the correct Guniwheel, for that car. So it's a great tool we've got on our website. And to reach me, it's easy. It's sergio@guniwheel.com. Or you can get us on our website.
Okay, well, it's really nice, to see a product that is open to feedback. We normally see these huge companies that we seem like there's a little bit of disconnection with the user, the end user, which is us. So I think it's great to support. And when in our case, we own a body shop, but when you own anything, or when you are in a project like you appreciate even more people getting into stuff like this and how hard it is. And, it seems easy from the outside. The product seems very simple on the outside, right? And, how much more is on the back end. So it's really nice to hear it from you. I remember, when we talked with Kirk, same thing. I don't know if you're familiar with the Luma, the little LED light. Same thing, how much, is involved in the back.
Sure.
So one of my last questions would be, how do you handle, the negative comments or the negative feedback? I think it's also very important because today's day on social media and all that is it's pretty open for everyone, definitely, to say whatever they want, which is great. But also, we all take it in a different way. So in your case that develop a product that, is something that fuel, the improvement of your product, how do you take, those comments?
Yeah, so again, like you said, I've been on both sides. I've been on the wheel. I've been on our side, the body shop wheel repair side. And I'm now on the other side developing a product for our industry. So, I was also one of those guys saying, man, this paint is rubbish or this brush is rubbish. But now that I'm a manufacturer, I've got to look at it as a different perspective. I've got to sit back and say, all right, let me listen to what they're saying. And that's what I do. I listen openly, and I take all the feedback. And like I say to you, what I'll do is I'll approach the person with the problem and say, right, what happened? And let me tell you, 99% of the time, if we've had a wheel fail, it came down to installation error or a technician error. When we actually went out and did the research of what happened. Either he overtalked it or he was going too fast. In fact, we've even had guys do burnouts on our wheels. And then we get a call and they tell me the rubber came off. And I say, the rubber can't just come off. Let me go see what happened. And I'll go there and then it will come out that technicians decided to do a burnout. I mean, we can't prevent that, We're all human. And I always say it, you go to Home Depot, you buy a microwave oven, you come home, you try to install it. You put a hole in the wrong place. You go back to Home Depot and say, this thing is rubbish. But it was my fault, right? So I had to look at it like that as a manufacturer now. How do I approach these type of people that are going to try and take advantage because they've made a fault? And I'm very open to it, And most of the times, I'll look at it and I'll give them a slap on the hand and say, look, don't do this again. This is what you should have done. And if you go into our website, we've got multiple videos about installation instructions, what to do, what not to do. And if they just stick to the installation, the product's going to last them a long, long time. Polyurethane, at that speed, shouldn't get damaged. I mean, it should last you a long time. If they use the washers correctly, when they tighten the bolts and nuts, the wheel's not going to get damaged. We hardly get any fault. I mean, I know that LKQ did a summary on theirs. I think they had a 0.76 return rate on the wheels, which is absolutely nothing. And then whatever those 0.76 was, I wanted to know what it was. So I'll get photos, they'll send me pictures, and I'll try to reach out to their customer that had the issue. And like I said, at the end of the day, oh, we didn't put the washer, or sorry, we didn't put the spacer. That's why the wheel got damaged. So, but we do accommodate, speaking to customers.
So you also mentioned the towing business, right? So I'm curious to know if it was something that you thought from the beginning, like, oh, this, is a great tool for towing too, or the towing business just showed up, as a coincidence of being in this industry.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I had no idea about the towing industry. And, what happened was at some of the shows, I speak to a lot of people there, and the tow truck guys would come past and go, damn, I could keep these on the back of my truck. And, then I'd start working with the tow industries. And then, we actually won the best new product for the Tow Professional magazine this year for our product. So we actually won that award as well. And I didn't even think about the tow industry, but now, it makes complete sense, because they're dealing with cars every day that's got damaged wheels or wheels that have been stolen off cars. And, for them to be at 3 o'clock in the morning with a car that hasn't got wheels, where they're going to go find wheels now? They can't. So now they just keep the Guniwheels in the back of the truck, and they load it onto the tow bed and they just bring it back to the shop. So it saves them a lot of time and money also. So, yeah. To answer your question, I had no idea about the tow industry, and I'm very grateful that it came along, even on the restoration side. I knew it would work for them, but I cannot believe how it has exploded on the restoration side. I've met some great guys on that. Casey from Casey Restorations, the guys from Goolsby Customs. There's a whole bunch of the custom guys, and they're such great people to work with, because they think about it. Every car they build is something new. They're actually developing a new product every time they build a new car. So they are actually inventors in their own rights, because the magic and the art that they come out with when they build those cars It's incredible. So I love spending time with those guys because, we feed off each other's ideas. I had a great conversation with Chip Foose not long ago, and he had a great idea for me saying, we should look at a way we can actually make this move left to right, and we sort of brainstorm, and it's just great to meet all these people because of the product. It's been fantastic.
Nice, Sergio. All right, so I don't know if you have anything else, Sergio, for us. I just want to, remind everyone that tomorrow we're going to upload this in YouTube as well. We started to upload it in a podcast too, so we're going to announce that as well, so we don't lose it. I know we lose, the first 2 or 3 weeks of all this. Unfortunately, people now start to ask me, hey, where can I see this one or that one? Sure. We lost it. Sorry. This one, definitely will be there, and it will be here on Instagram and IGTV, as long as this account is open. So anyone that missed it tonight can revisit it. I know so many people also in Europe prefer the podcast, to watch it, because of the to listen to this because of the time difference. So again, Sergio, thank you very much to be here, with us tonight. We learned, a lot about this product that is, amazing, and I can't wait to try it. Most likely this week, if it's if it is as you say, that it's a phone call and next day is there, then yeah.
You know how to reach me, yeah. So please do,
All right, Sergio. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And, just everybody stay safe. And just one more comment, let's open the country. Let's start working. We need to work.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.